So we got an understanding of creating list collections inside of Python. Now, one of the really neat things about the list type is that it's changeable, meaning that we can add items to the list even after it's created, and we can remove items from the list. Imagine this, you create a list of objects, you create a list of a bunch of string values, maybe they're employee names or their customer names or their products or whatever, you got that all inside of a list. And then later on within your code, you decide that I need to add some additional elements to this list. Well, utilizing the list type, we can do that. We can append elements to a list object. We can also remove elements from the list. Let's take a look at list methods. We saw some string object earlier, and we talked about the string methods that come along with that and how we can interact, we can interface with that string type. See something very similar here, but now we're talking about list methods. Take a look. So I'm going to create a new list. Let's just call this my list once again. And I'm going to give it some values. And I'm just going to use the square brackets. So I'll do some colors once again. Red, green, and green. All right, and I'll close that square bracket. All right, so I've got my list. Let's just confirm here really quick. I will print out my list, and I will grab one of those. Let's grab the number 1. All right, and there's blue. Good, it's looking good. I've got my list there, and I'm able to retrieve data from that list. Now, if I print out the entire list, here it is, there's all the colors. Now, at some point within my program or my application, we've got this list, and we decide that, oh, we're going to add some additional elements to this list. Perhaps we're gathering data from user input, or we're getting data from some database in the back end, or we're scraping data down from the web, whatever it is, but I need to add some additional elements to this list. Well, if I say my list, there's my object, red, green, and blue currently, right? Actually, red, blue, and green. And I do the dot notation, and I bring in the append method of the list object. Now, the append method takes really one argument from us. It wants to know what value you want to append to this list. So let's bring in another color. I'm going to bring in my quotes, and we'll bring in purple. All right, so my list dot, getting into the axis of the methods here for the list object. One argument in there, we bring in the element or the value that we want to append. I'll hit my enter key. All right, now I've added it. Nothing got returned to me. I didn't ask for anything to be returned. We just appended it. So now let's go ahead and print this out. I'll say my list and hit my enter key. And I've now been able to add an additional element to that list. Now this is just one of the methods. There's a handful of other methods here. We're going to talk about a few of them, some of the more common ones. Append is a great one. Again, this is one of the beauties of the list object, that we can now store multiple values inside of this one variable as an array, a collection of data, and programmatically we can append to the existing lists. All right, so try this out. Jump in, create a new list, put some values in there, and then access the append method to append additional values to that list.